Hey, this is Barry from Sunken Mine Railroad, and today's kit is going to be the 8963 Märklin Z-Scale Apartment House kit. And I've got two of them. The Märklin Toporama needs two of these houses. And like I've done in some of the other videos, I built one, and I'm going to show you the contents of the other one and build the other one. I'm not going to review some of the techniques I've used in the other videos because it would just take me too long to explain them, and it's repetitive. But let's take a look at this kit. This is one of the first kits that Märklin made. It's not based, that I'm aware of, on any specific apartment building. There are a few different buildings this style. It's modern and Bauhaus, and it's really part of what makes the Märklin kits really unique and makes them German, in my opinion. If the houses were generic, it just wouldn't be as much fun. But you've got the German trains and the German houses and the German apartment buildings and the Gobingen station. So there's a little bit of reality and a little bit of fantasy. This is one of those kits. The built-up unit here, it's kind of colorful. They have a version of this kit that was made in the late 70s or early 80s. They had two of these. I found one online, but I really wanted the yellow applique inside because I wanted to look like the Märklin Toporama. Here's the packaging. This is the old style, earlier style packaging with the wood grain, and found these on eBay. It cost me about $30, $35 a piece. You can find them unbuilt for $25 to $35 on eBay. And then here's one with the later packaging, which shows some other suggestions, such as some of the little people in the cars and things. So let me put this where I can see it. And let's see what's in the box. This is one of the more complex kits. And one thing I've found, now that I'm on my fifth or sixth kit, is that it's much easier to put the window frames into the walls and then assemble the kit with all of that installed, because this kit you're going to want to spray paint the inside flat black so the light doesn't come through. And I'm going to note a couple other things. So here's the instruction kit. One thing to note on the instruction kit, the early instruction kit, the earlier instruction kit has a mistake in it. On this page right here, they call out wall 35. It should really be wall 46. So that's a mistake, and as you're putting together, it doesn't fit. And then on this side, it says the same thing here. It says wall 46. It should really be 29. So they switched the two, and on the later instruction kit that I have, it's been corrected. So sometime between 1975 and 1978 or 79, they realized there was a mistake and they fixed it. So that's something to keep in mind. If you have an earlier kit, there's a misspelling in an incorrect instruction kit. So what's in the box? You've got the white plastic. You've got the gray plastic. This one's a little warped. I'm gonna have to fix that. There's more of the white that fell off the tree. Here's the brown walls. These brown walls are generally the window frames, and you can see they use a lot of plastic, so these have been ganged up together. And then you've got the yellow decor to the porches. You've got the actual porches or balconies. You've got the clear parts and the infamous flocking material. So that is what is in the box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assemble the walls and put the windows on and get this kit built up. And then what I'll do is I'll just go over the final assembly of the kit on the video. Okay, I've got the walls built and I've painted the back sides black. So I've got the windows on, and I want to do the final assembly now, and talk about the next things that need to happen. We're going to put the porches on. Here's the remainders. And this kit's a lot easier if you construct the walls first and then put the walls on. And then these are the parts for the penthouse mostly. Make sure to have the slats on these little things out. What you can do is put a small piece of tape on the edge to keep the walls from shifting. All right, so we'll let that set up. Here's the roof. I painted it black again so it wouldn't come through. It goes on like that with this slot towards the back. At this point, I want to make sure that the top is perfectly level. And I can see that these sort of stick up a little bit. So I'm going to take a sanding block and I'm just going to sand these down a little bit so they're level. It looks pretty good. I'm going to put some glue on it. One thing I noticed with this kit is it does not have the paper insert like the small houses do. And I took a look at it and I kind of like it this way. It's one of the brighter buildings and it doesn't really bother me that there isn't a paper diffusing insert in it. If that's something that you want to do, it would be really easy on this building to add that. You just use some either tissue paper or some thin copier paper would work nicely. But for this one, I kind of like the fact that it's hollow. Sometime in the future, I may want to add detail. Again, make sure you're always working from the right angle. So I'm going to put a weight on that and let it sit for a few hours, and that'll be nice and secure. At this point, normally I would build this, but like I mentioned earlier, this is warped. Whoops, there we go. So you can see how it curves up. I'm going to hit it with a heat gun and see if I can get it to straighten out without melting it. But it's actually pretty warped. Yeah, you can see it right like there. So that's not going to be good when I go to put the penthouse together. Well, that was a disaster. All right, so yeah, that was a disaster. I decided immediately to sort of walk away from it before I got frustrated, and I thought about how can I fix this. So there's three ways I could do this. I could go on eBay and buy a whole other kit for $35 plus shipping, which doesn't make sense for one piece. I also looked through my bag of parts that I had from the layout, and I found another one of these, which is in reasonably good condition. Actually, it's in really good condition, but unfortunately, because of the age of it, it's very, very brown. If you look at it, you know, it's not at all the same color. So I could hit that with some paint, and then I'd have to paint this to make them match each other. So what I ended up doing was buying some styrene at my local hobby store, Heritage Hobbies in Connecticut. I'll put a link to them on it. And I bought a couple of pieces of styrene, which happens to be nearly the identical color of this piece. And I bought two. There's a little tiny flange on this thing, so I bought two pieces of styrene, and I'm gluing them together right now. So what I've done is I've cut one piece slightly bigger than the other, and I'm clamping them. And then once these are clamped and the glue is dry, they'll make a nice base for this. The piece that I need is this piece right here. So once the house is on, I'll cut off the skylight, put that there, and I'll hit it with some matte paint, and you probably won't even notice the difference. So it's always good that when you make some sort of mistake, you just walk away and don't smash it and don't lose your cool. Think about the zen of doing this sort of stuff, especially with Z-scale. There's a lot of opportunity to get frustrated and do just damage. So while I'm waiting for this to dry, I'm going to build a penthouse, and then by the time that's done, this is done. This should be dry enough for me to attach. Keep in mind on these kits too, there's little tiny tabs on these, and before you put them together, it's very hard to figure out, well, which side is the top on this one. It has a number 35 on it, and it's sideways. So test fit these before you put them together, because I can see this won't go like this because of the other thing on this one. So this is definitely the window for this. So this guy goes here, and then this is going to be the smooth side, which is right there. So that's how those are going to go together. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, now it calls for this piece. Again, if I use this one, it would just be weird. It just looks odd. And this one looks like a disaster. So I'm going to remove these two pieces and glue them on there. Okay, I managed to remove the skylights from the old warped piece, which I've tossed. So here's the, sorry about that. Here's the skylight, and here is the other piece that goes inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold off on gluing this, but I'll use this as the template for this guy, and then this will go here. Something like that. And then this guy actually goes inside, so it really doesn't matter. You can't see it. So I think I'm going to omit that. All right, so let me put together the penthouse, and then I'll finish this up, and we'll move on to the next structure. So I'm going to do this upside down. I'm going to glue it on. Let me take a look at how this went together. Okay. I'm pretty pleased with that, considering I broke it. But we're going to let this dry now, and then I'll hit this with a little matte paint, and you'll never even know that it wasn't the piece that the kit came with. Yeah, perfect. So I've got my 2 apartment buildings, and I'm stoked about that. And I've got 2 more buildings to build. I've got the station, and I've got the switching tower, which I'll do next. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.